So homes are typically burnt in two fashions. One is through radiant heat, and that would be like a tree torching out next to the house, and that tree then burning, starting the house on fire. The other main cause is actually from embers, starting from a tree torching out far, could be up to a mile away, those embers landing in a receptive fuel bed. In this case, again, looking at that home ignition zone and that immediate zone, that 0 to 5 feet, this structure, we have wood chips that go right up to the house itself. So those wood chips, an ember could land in the wood chips, and then the wood chips actually start the house on fire. And that's a major concern in this case of having, while we don't want to have wood chips immediately adjacent to the house as we see here. So within that 5-foot zone, we also have an Austrian pine, this little shrub here, that again, if embers were to land in the base of it, this mixed conifer could start on fire, start this pole on fire, and then the whole house goes up. So another concern with this structure here. You wouldn't think about it, but even something as simple as this doormat made of natural fibers, if embers were to land on that, that could start on fire. In this case, you know, there's concrete between that and the wooden door, but a lot of times we'll have a mat right next to the wooden door, and that could also be a receptive fuel to start fire. Here we have a wooden fence, about 30 years old. Concern I really have with this wooden fence is it also has wood chips. So an ember could land on the wood chips, and that's a receptive fuel bed, then start the fence on fire. And I have seen in cases on the Waldo Canyon fire where a wood fence started on fire, that fence then burnt to the deck. The next day, that house was gone. We didn't have enough resources to put on it to stop the fire. The one benefit this wood fence does have, you can open the gate and leave the gate open. With that gate open, that would break, if this wooden fence started on fire, that would break that connection between the wooden fence and the house burning. And but you would have to have that fence open, and you want to prop it open because a lot of times when we have wildland fires, there's winds associated with them and the like. So in the backyard, there's a couple things that come to mind that I see that are concerning about this structure. One is we've got a vent here that leads into the basement. That vent has a covering, but it's basically to keep rodents out. You'd actually want to have screening on there so that embers could not get into the basement. We also see artificial turf, and although there's not good scientific papers about artificial turf, if you talk to firefighters and structure departments, they really do not like artificial turf when it comes to fire. First of all, it is a petroleum-based product, so it will burn. The flame lengths are probably not going to be large enough to be a concern, but when it does burn, it smolders, and it puts out a lot of volatile chemicals, being that it's a petroleum-based product. So another thing we see, you know, especially if you got ponderosa pine or lodgepole pine in your area, is it likes to gather around homes or on roofs. And this is one thing you do not want to have, is pine needle drape laying at the base of your house in a corner like this, that again, embers could land on this and ignite the house on fire. Lastly, you know, looking at this house, everybody likes to have their firewood, if they have a fireplace in the house, right next to the door and adjacent to the house. This is a big watch out situation as far as from a fire concern. Again, embers could land on this and combust. And even in the Forsyth fire down in Pine Valley, heard stories of people having firewood decks right in front of the house. The fire department actually came in, wet it down, but it was not enough to stop that pile of firewood from burning, and the house actually was lost. There are numerous sources of information on reducing your risk to wildfire. Many local fire departments, the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire and State Lands, and county fire wardens can conduct home assessments to help you better understand what you can do to better protect your home. Please see these links found in the video description for additional information from the National Interagency Fire Center, the National Fire Protection Association, and Utah State University Extension on Firewise Landscaping in Utah and the Home Ignition Zone.